The U.S. presidential campaign is garnering lots of domestic media attention, but how does the media outside of America view the race for the presidency? The World Press Institute is hosting a group of journalists from Europe, Asia and Africa at the Democratic National Convention. And joining us now via Skype from Charlotte is the Ugandan representative Farouk Kayondo, who is a TV news editor and anchor at the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. Mr. Kayondo, thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to In Focus.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm very curious first as a journalist, what are you taking away from this convention that you're witnessing there in Charlotte?
Well, I'm impressed by the freedom here in America. Everyone is free to cover the news the way they see it. Unlike in Africa, in many African countries, you don't have that freedom to cover the news the way you see it. You have lots of self-censorship in Africa, but here the freedom is amazing.
And also, I guess you're also referring to the fact that the Republicans who are running against the Democrats who are in office had equal coverage.
Oh, yes. Here in America, seeing what it's like here in America is amazing. If you want to cover the Republicans, you can do it freely. If you want to cover the Democrats, you can do it freely. No one is going to, ask you to be, to censor you, to cover news in a different point of view. So here in America, the freedom is amazing. We don't have that much freedom in Africa.
Now, I want to go a little bit into the actual process. Of course, conventions are not just unique to America. They happen in Africa, too, in a lot of presidential races. Maybe they're called Congress or a conference, or in some cases also convention. And of course, Uganda, where you're from, certainly has one, too. What have you noticed as the distinction or similarities in the convention and how it's carried out?
Here in America, everything is very well choreographed. I've attended the Democratic Convention here, and the scenes are very, very amazing, to see all these speakers from different states speaking their mind. It's very difficult to see that in Africa. You don't really speak your mind that very well in Africa, especially my country, Uganda.
Now, you work for a state broadcaster, which many would assume is a state-run organization, which normally supports the position of that president. So are you saying in a way that you're limited because of that?
Oh, yes, you're limited. You have to cover news showing the state point of view. You're limited to cover news that really criticizes the state or the president. Yes, because I work for a state broadcaster, so you have to be very careful how you cover the news.
So how do you see that changing at all, or what do you hope will change in terms of now being able to use what you see here? Literally every media has an opportunity to weigh in and cover whichever way and angle that they want. And obviously that enriches all the different groups of people whoever they're supporting. What do you hope would change?
No, we as the media in Uganda have to fight for our rights. Uganda has a fairly free media environment, but we have to fight for our rights so that we can cover, whether it's a state broadcaster or it's a private broadcaster, so that we can cover the news the way we see it professionally. So we have to work for that.
And very briefly before you go, how much interest is there in Uganda specifically in terms of who wins, whether it's Mitt Romney or Barack Obama being re-elected? Is there a lot of, people are following up on this election?
Yeah, people in Africa, especially Uganda, see President Barack Obama as one of their own because he has African roots. So they are very interested in seeing President Obama re-elected.
But then most have complained that maybe he didn't do as much for Africa as they had hoped. So that's still a sentiment?
Oh, yes, it's still a sentiment, but still...
Comparing to Bush, who many say did a lot more.
Yeah, it's quite ironic, but still many Africans want to see President Barack Obama re-elected for another 4 years because of his African roots.
Well, Mr. Kayondo, we really appreciate your media perspective. We thank you for joining us on In Focus. That's Farouk Kayondo, TV news editor and anchor at the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, joining us from Charlotte in North Carolina.
And you can stay in touch with In Focus by going to our Facebook page. Click like, read our stories and leave your comments. The address, facebook.com/VOA In Focus.